Are out this morning, and it's going to be myself, and then a little bit later I'll be joined by Thor to give me a hand, and we'll take you through the pre-market as we take a look at what's moving so far this morning, try and create a stock trade list are out this morning, and get ourselves ready for the day. Let me just, for the guys in the room, throw up a webcam, see if this is going to work. Hold on. Nope, apparently not. Apparently I cannot share a webcam in the room. I've got one online. So, all right. All right, so let's take a look what's happening in the world first. Why don't we start there? I'm seeing a fair amount of green across the board. As I looked at the sort of global indices and global futures, that's usually a good indication of where things are going. I've got it up on the screen here. So that gave me some hope that we'll be having a good day today. If I take a look at the North American market, it looks like that we are gapping up. Whoops. We're gapping up by about 0.25%. So yeah, we're up a little bit this morning, and we'll see if that holds. Yesterday was an interesting day. If I just scroll back here, you notice that we started down on the morning and moved up through the day, but never quite got back to break even, except at the end of the day, we more or less ended sort of flat. So it was an interesting day. And we had some interesting stocks yesterday. So if I look through yesterday, I was trading KSS, which I don't normally trade because, when you look at KSS, which is Kohl's, it doesn't always move that well. And you can see sort of after the initial bounce in the morning, it went flat for most of the day before taking off in the afternoon. I only traded it here in the morning. I got a good push down here, so I got a piece of that, which was nice. But yeah, you had to be really careful because you could have got chopped up through this, but had an opportunity when it pulled back, despite the bad news, because they had, if I recall, they had downgraded their future outlook. So. BBBY was in a similar position, although even worse, they had bad earnings and it downgraded. It was a great short off the open. I did not take this short, but look at it drop off the open yesterday, and then again, it sort of went flat through most of the day. So really the opportunity yesterday on BBBY was at the open. A couple other stocks really of note, though. LK. It was struggling to break 40 back on Wednesday. Yesterday, though, it took off. It took off right out of the open. And I thought it was going to, sort of get to 40 and then hover there for the day, but absolutely not. It sprung all the way up to 45, and it really just had a strong day all day. So who knows what LK is going to do today, but it certainly has been on a tear the last couple of days. Beyond had put in a good day yesterday as well. There's been news about it and the proposed deal with McDonald's. They actually have not won that deal. It's still in competition, but one of their competitors, Impossible Foods, pulled out, which just gives them a better shot at that contract. So they were riding that wave yesterday and saw an increase in their share price as well. And the last two I'll mention here are Tesla and Apple. Let's start with Apple because it was also sort of pushing up. Both of these are at all-time highs. Apple continued just to put in the highs. What I found very interesting about Apple is it was actually pretty choppy in here, a little hard to trade until the point at which it broke VWAP. And here, when it was sort of showing strength at supporting VWAP, somebody in our room actually called it for a long, and they had a great opportunity, went up a couple of dollars, but then look at this massive drop. And really no signal for it. I don't know what precipitated that. It just sort of went up, went back down twice as far as it had gone up to hit the daily low, pulled back up into this sort of big range for the day, and more or less just held there for the rest of the day. So a little bit of weird play on Apple. Tesla, on the other hand, had a weak day. After hitting all-time highs, I was convinced that it was going to break 500, and it got so close but could not break 500. I think 199.30-ish was the highest it spiked to, but it just dropped all day. You know, you can see it coming down here. Made a little bit of pullback to VWAP around 1 o'clock, but yeah, it was not having a strong day yesterday. So I anticipate both Apple and Tesla to be interesting to watch as well today. We'll see what happens. So with that, let's take a look at what's trending in the market. And RA's commenting on my white background. I use a black background myself, but most people use white. So when I'm broadcasting on YouTube RA, I'll switch to the white background for you guys. It's weird for me because I'm not used to looking at it. I'm used to looking at more of a black background, something like that. But trying to appease the masses. Yeah, the green bars are a little hard to see here. I was noticing that myself, but I'd have to go play with that and see if I can't change the colors, but I won't do that right now. It's also because I'm using a 1-minute chart, so. But we'll switch out of that because we'll start looking at what's happening here pre-market. So we'll make the bars bigger. All right, let's see what's moving this morning. So first up on the list, I've got Sava. It's one that just jumped on the list because it wasn't here earlier when I was looking at things. It is up 8%, 171 shares traded. It's one of the ones I haven't looked up the news. So let's see what's happening on Sava this morning. Huh, I don't see any news on Sava. You guys see anything out there that... let me just bring this up. Sava. Let's see what's going on with it. Nothing. I got no news. This is the second one. I've got another one here, PTLA, that I didn't find any news on. So, yeah. All right. Well, Sava is... Sava's a relatively low float at 14 million. So it's... where is my... Sorry, guys, 1 second. There it is. Looking for that. Yeah, that's a relatively low float here at 14, 15 million, depending what you look at. So, so this could be just sort of normal movement for it. It's not bad here pre-market though. It's got some decent volume and it's moving, so I'll keep it on my list. We'll see what happens. I said I don't have any news on it, but we'll see what happens. Derm was one that I was looking at. Let's take a peek here at Derm. Derm, I don't really like the pre-market action. It is also a buyout, so I'm surprised to see it moving at all. It's being bought by Eli Lilly for $18.75 a share, so I'm surprised to see it pushing up above $18.75. But I usually don't like playing buyouts because they don't move that well. The daily chart doesn't look that bad, but I don't expect it to be... I'm going to keep an eye on it, though, because I'm curious as to why it's moving above that buyout price. Maybe there's some other news out there. All right, what else? BBBY. Normally, when the price is fixed and it's a cash buyout, what I read was this was a cash buyout, which means that if you know that another company is buying it for a fixed cash price, why would the price move above that level? Because, you know, that's essentially what all the shares will be bought out at or converted into Eli Lilly stock. But here it's a cash buyout, which means every shareholder is going to get no more than $18.75 cash, assuming that deal holds through the sale. So, so normally the price sort of flatlines at that level, but that's not what we're seeing today. It's up at $19.20. BBBY is here. It looks like it was a block trade right here at 8 o'clock because I don't see any volume on it today. It might be a continuation play. I'll keep it here so we can look at the levels. But so far this morning, not great movement on BBBY. NLOC is the next one I have on my list. Terrible pre-market. It does have 240 almost thousand shares traded. Enlock is an interesting one this morning. They issued an announcement for a special dividend at $12 a share. Their normal dividend is something like 30 cents. I can't remember what it was, or 35 cents, something like that. But they're going to issue a special dividend for Enlock of $12. That is huge. That's that's almost half the value of the price. So we can see this stock price going up over the next little while, because that will be for shareholders of record at the close of January 23rd. So what you'll have to watch on this one, it's an interesting one. They're going to return over $8 billion in capital. So up to January 23rd, we should expect to see Enlock's price increase. It doesn't mean it'll necessarily be in play today, but between now and the 23rd of January, we'd have to watch it because the price will go up. And then as of the 24th, expect the price to drop, because there's no point in holding it. You just need to be the shareholder of record as of the close on the 23rd. You will get your $12 a share, and then people are going to dump the stock. So Enlock is sort of one to put in the long-term note to look for on the 24th. We can expect to see it drop on the 24th, but I don't expect to see much movement today. While the announcement came out today, it's not necessarily going to drive it up. UNG is natural gas. I don't watch that, so KRP would be the next one on our list. I can't say KRP without thinking WKRP in Cincinnati, for any of you that ever watched that show. But anyways, KRP, secondary offering, it's down 8%, not unexpected. They're doing a share offering at $15.50. They actually have a double whammy this morning. You can see how they're down on the daily. Their double whammy this morning is that they are not only having a secondary offering, but they've announced that they're buying the mineral and royalty rights for Springbok. And that's going to be driving their price down. I don't really like the pre-market action, but I'm going to keep it here, set some levels. It may move once the market opens. We do have 150,000 shares, and it does look like it's evenly distributed, despite the fact, when I say I don't like it, when I see minutes that you just have basically nothing happening, and look at the you got spikes of good volume and then these minutes of really low volume. That's not really a good consistent pre-market action. All right. Next, Grub. So Grub had a boost the last couple of days. If we see here in the daily chart, you can see how it went up. This was on the rumors that they were going to be bought out. And there were rumors that they were going to be bought out by everybody from Uber to Walmart, of all things. However, they issued a statement saying that is false. They are not looking to sell. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't sell. This happens all the time, where they sort of deny the sale rumors, and if the right offer comes, the board may choose to accept it anyways. But management is currently saying they're not looking to sell, which has dropped their price, you can see, by 8.5% this morning. So Grub doesn't have a great pre-market action, but it may very well be in play. We'll see what happens. Grub is it's not a low float, 90 million shares. So I'll keep it to put some levels. We'll see. I've never really traded Grub well, so I don't have a lot of hope for it. But we'll see what happens. Six Flags Entertainment, 400,000 shares, down 16%. Look at this big drop. Relatively good pre-market action. Definitely at this moment, it looks like 6 will be on my list. I know the news here is they had a revenue warning. They warned that the revenues were going to be low as they're having trouble in China with their park development. It looks like one of the partners they were working with to develop the parks has sort of backed away, and they're struggling to get them to perform and provide the capital that they promised. So that's causing a revenue warning. So I expect 6 SIX to be in play. I'm hearing something in my ear here. I think that means that Thor has been able to join us. Good morning, Thor.
Hey, Peter. How's it going?
Fantastic.
Good morning, everybody. EBT Nation, what's going on?
Welcome. I could use your help. I'm just going through the gappers list this morning. We're seeing what's happening. I'm actually on the last one I've got on the list so far, but we still have lots of stuff to do. So Well,
Six is certainly looking pretty interesting. That's for sure.
yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's the first one that for sure I'm going to have on my list because I like the look of it. I like the news, and we'll see what happens. I'm
Yeah,
going to keep
solid
it.
catalyst.
I'm going to keep it here for levels, so we'll see what happens. I'm moving on to PTLA, which is the next one. I don't love the pre-market action here. I also don't love. I wasn't able to find news earlier on PTLA. I heard some people mention that it had a potential downgrade. Anyone a downgrade? Yeah, I didn't. That's not strong
Yeah, it
news for
looks
me.
like yeah, it looks like it got lowered down to about 17.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that doesn't justify a drop to $14 though. So, um,
True.
I don't know what's going on with it. The volume is actually relatively low. Most of the volume you can see so far was in these candles right at 8 o'clock. So I'm not. Well, it's almost got 1 million shares. The actual volume here, minute by minute, is pretty low. So I'm not loving it. Let's just see what the relative volume is. Yeah, we've got like only a couple thousand shares going each minute. I'll keep an eye on it here. We might as well set some levels, but again, it's not looking fantastic to me. All right, anything else that's jumped up? AGTC keeps jumping up on the list. It's been around for a couple of days. I haven't looked it up, but I don't imagine there's new news. This is just because if you look yesterday, it had a huge day. You can see here, I expect this to be just sort of a little bit of recovery after that big day yesterday, but it may go further. It may jump up once the market opens, but look, the pre-market isn't great. 129,000 shares, so not fantastic, but
12 mil float.
I'll throw it in here, and what is it? Yeah, 18 million float, so it's a lower float as well. We'll keep an eye on it. All right. So, guys, I've got the list of things we're going to set levels on. Just taking a look here. We're doing okay timing-wise. Let's talk about some announcements. Hey, Thor, I don't have an announcement sheet. Let me just check my mail. I don't have an announcement sheet. Did you want to take the announcements, though, Thor? We can do them out of what Abiel's posted in the room if you're up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can walk through it.
Sure.
Let me give a quick read, then I'll run into it.
Why don't I start with the first one? I'll let you catch up with the next ones. So, guys, we do have classes that are ongoing. So, Class 1, which is our introduction, sort of DAS onboarding and getting started in the markets, is going to be on January the 13th, next week. We run these classes on a regular basis for all our new traders, or it's a good refresher if you want to sort of join again. They are posted in our room as well, so if you're a member, you can get access to the recordings. That's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern on January 13th, and we always run those in our classroom. So join us then. You ready for the next one, Thor?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
So, also within the announcements, one thing we like to talk about is we've got the new website soon to be launched, and things are going to be going. We're really excited about that going. So, but we'd appreciate it if any of you could write an honest review of BBT Community and submit a headshot for our new website soon to be launched. That certainly would help us out a lot, and we also like kind of spreading that experience around. If you look up into the alerts area, we've got a link for that. It's bearbulltraders.com/review. And also, it looks like we've got the Seattle meetup coming up January 18th, 2020. So make sure you are there to do that. You don't just have to be a BBT member to come to this. So anyone out there in YouTube land, or anyone who's looking to do that kind of stuff, come by, check it out, see the quality of people that we have there, because the people that show up to the meetups, our traders, they're just the best people. So feel free to come by, meet them, interact, get a drink on us. And or on Andrew specifically, not on me, and it goes really fun. And then on top of that, also, if you are looking to give us a try, or you're looking to after you've done that and you really want to get into things and maybe check BBT out yourself, if you use the promo code premarket24, you can get a discount on our 1-week trial. So it doesn't auto renew, so you don't have to worry about all that. It's $24 instead of $39. So, and we'll get a link up on the YouTube if it's not already there for anyone who wants to go that way. click there. And anybody in the room, you don't need it because you're already here. So, and that looks like what I've got for announcements.
Sounds great, Thor. Thank you. Yeah, and the meetups are a lot of fun. Like I've always had fun at the meetups because you meet some great people. It's, for me who are in the room every day, it's good to put faces to the voices. So I think that's always cool, or at least to the text messages, because we tend to chat with people all the time. I feel like I know you through your online handles, but it's always good to put a face to the people whom we trade with every day. All right, I'm going to take a quick peek at the market gainers. I always forget to do that. So Derm, we've already looked at, and it's on our list. SRNE, I was noticing it. It was on my pre-market. I look at the pre-market stock watch list too, and I see it right at the top of the list here. Big shares so far today, over 5.7 million shares traded so far. It is a lower float, I think. Let me just check. No, it is not. 127 million shares. So, but it's a lower priced stock. Up 43%. It was up 48% just a minute ago. This looks good pre-market. I didn't find any news on it though. Thor, have you had any luck finding anything?
I'm looking right now actually to see what we got going on because I'm not seeing anything that just pops out.
But it must.
Other than basically just it being on everyone's movers list, basically.
Yeah, when it's on this list and not on our list, that usually means that something is low. So here you can see its average true range. It normally only moves, so its average range per day is 22 cents. So it's not normally a big mover.
Yeah.
Which is why it didn't show up on my list. But today, obviously, it's moving more than that because it's up $1.50. It's a lower price stock, which often we avoid, but I sort of like the look of it. So I'm going to put it on my list here. We're going to have a lot of things to set levels on, so I better start moving faster. TTNP, hate the look of it. This often, this is to me algorithmic trading, even pre-market. When I see that, not a really good price action. So I'm not going to pay attention to that. XENE. Nope, don't like the look of the pre-market on that at all. ACRS, I think I've talked about this in the past. Boy, this daily is terrible. Look at this. It went nowhere and then it popped up. Only a $2 stock. The pre-market doesn't look that bad though. I think it's been on our list in the past. It sounds familiar. Hold on, let me just check my last couple of days here.
Yeah, it had this breakout above $2 basically on the daily. It had like a pretty good resistance going on around $2, and it finally broke that out.
Yeah.
So this could move a little bit today actually.
I don't have any levels set, so obviously I wasn't looking at it, but it sounds familiar. I'm going to put it on my list, and we'll take a look at it. PTLA comes up on the list a lot. Not something I'm going to really look at. Almost 1 million shares, down 40%. Oh, wait a second. We did look at that earlier. That's the one where don't really have the news. Remember, it was downgraded. You had said to $17, and it's sitting down at 14. I remember now. All right, what else we got?
There is on a daily on PTLA. There is like I'd say right at 1475, basically right where it's at right now. There's a big support bounce that it did back in the December of 2018. So this actually could be a pretty interesting level for it to either achieve or lose if someone's into it. I don't think I'm going to watch this one, but there are some bids pulling down below 1450, so it certainly looks like it could continue, and if it loses this level, could be a quite sharp reaction.
Yeah, 1481 is exactly where that level is. I'm going to throw it in here on my chart right now, but we'll come back to that. All right, let me just go through the rest of these here quickly. Naked. NAKD, no. AZRX, oh, hate the look of that. Rare, RARE, no, that doesn't look good pre-market. SPWH, and guys, when I'm dismissing them very quickly, just look up here, right? Look at the price action is just sort of non-existent. APTX again looks the same. CYRX the same. Last one. Actually, one more here. SNCA looks terrible, and URBN, Urban Outfitters. also looks yucky. All right. With that, I got a bunch of stuff to set some levels at. Let's see what we can do to mash through them here. All right, starting at the top, SAVA. I've already got a level at 1084, which I have apparently pulled off the daily somewhere, and I don't know where. It must have been back a little ways. Here we go. You can see now. Back in May, it looks like, of 2018, it hit that level. And guys, when we say these levels are magic, so I obviously set this level a little while ago, right? I took it off of here, and because I know I have not looked at this in a while, and yet look what happened when I zoom back in just a couple of days ago, right? It pretty much came right to that level before pulling back. So I'm going to leave that level there. However, I will add a level just at the top of this candle because it hit a high of $10.95. So obviously it, that relative area is important. And I don't mind having two levels to market there. I'm also going to put a level here at 1060, which is the high of this candle right here. We'll throw that in. So if it goes up through those, then frankly, who knows how high it could go. If it decides to drop, I've got a level off the daily here at $6.13, which I'm going to leave. It's in the middle of this gap. And I've got a couple of levels from the previous days. So for me, that's good for SAVA. DERM, well, I've got some daily levels. These dotted red lines, by the way, that you're seeing on my chart, I have the previous day and the previous day. So basically the last 2 days, highs and lows, marked. So that's what you're going to see in these red lines. So they're automatically marked for me. And you can see, it's right at the top of this candle, and then it's the bottom, so you can see sort of where they're marked at these levels. So that gives me some good levels to start with on DERM. Moving back in time, though, whoa, look at this big gap that it had. So obviously DERM right now is breaking out the top of this range that it had been in. And we'll see if it can sort of firmly break through it. I've got some other levels that have been previously marked. Look at this. So I'm just going to leave them here. 2143 is the bottom of this candle. And then 2324, sort of at this consolidation area before that drop. And then here where the bulk of the consolidation sort of obviously showed some support for a while before it broke it at 2570. So those are the levels I'm just going to leave for DERM. BBBY.
Yeah, Peter, and it looks like DERM. It looks like DERM is on a buyout today, right? Is the news on DERM?
It is. The reason why I'm setting levels, though, is the buyout was set at 1875. We talked about this a little earlier, Thor, but it's pushing up above that up here. So I don't know. Normally that doesn't happen. So there may be some movement in DERM, despite the fact that it's a cash buyout. Because a cash buyout, why would you pay more than 1875, the cash value of the stock, right? So there might be something else going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, BBBY. I have a bunch of levels set to the downside already because I have looked at this in the past, so I'll just run through them quickly with you. I know that it is up marginally today. If it does go higher, I've got a level here at 1473, which is roughly this consolidation area. I also have, again, the previous 2-day high and low. You can already see marked here. 1499 would be the next nearest one, which it also happens to be a consolidation area. Look at that, right? Yesterday, the high was exactly at this consolidation level that we can see back here from October. So that makes a lot of sense to me, and that would probably be an area of potential resistance. Then I don't expect it to go higher. If it does, then the next logical area might be up here at about 1585. You could see where it's sort of before this big drop where it had shown some support for bouncing back. And then on the downside, I've got some levels already marked at 1261, 1245, which is because of this consolidation range here, and then 1173 to the downside. So that's good for me for BBBY. NLOK, so this is a big breakout this morning. Just move my mic over. So we're going to have to go back in time here to see previous level. Oh, is this a fairly recent IPO? I don't seem to have any data prior to November. I thought NLOK had been around. Let's take a look. Huh. I don't seem to. All right, so this is a fairly recent IPO then. I have nothing before November. So we have no levels. This is, completely out, all-time highs then, trading out of the territory. Maybe that's why the symbol looked familiar, because it was on my alerts for new acquisition. So I got nothing, guys. So goodness knows what could happen with this. Again, keep in mind NLOK is a lower price stock. Well, it's not. Sorry, $27. Why am I thinking it was a lower priced? It is not. Anyways, the news today was this special dividend. It may not move today, but that dividend is such weird news, right? Such a huge dividend at $12 that we could see some buying, but I expect that to happen closer to the 23rd of January again, when you have to be the shareholder of record to earn it. So I probably won't put it on my primary list, but I'm going to try and remember to keep it around for the next couple of weeks to see what happens. KRP. KRP is, again, that secondary offering, and they're making an acquisition. I don't have any levels set other than those previous 2 days. It looks like it's in. It looks like it's settling into this area consolidation we had back in June and July. I'm going to set a level here at 1558, which is the bottom of this range. The top of this range, I already sort of have the levels set automatically, but I'm going to set another one up here at 1646, just to bracket that. If it breaks out of that, then I'll revisit this for the downside, because I don't see any beautiful levels. I mean, it sort of had this weak area here, and then it had this little run up that it made prior to this drop. So we'll keep an eye on it. Really, I'll have to see if it's going to break out of this range at all. Grub could be interesting with rumors of buyouts and the company denying them. This could either go up or down. So Grub is one where you're best not to be biased if you want to trade it. The volume isn't huge. It's still only 200,000 shares. I do have a level here at 39.40, which I still like. It happens to be the peak of this candle, and notice it. So resistance here, right, where it had big gap down, right? This is where then it was unable to break through after the gap. It came and bounced off of this as support before moving up. So I'm going to leave that level, and then I have another one here, which I've already set at 51.57, which is the bottom of this range before that gap down. And then a third one that I previously set, which I still like, right, off of this bounce at 56.51. So I'm just going to leave those for now, and we will see what happens. Six, again, I do like for today. The pre-market action continues to look good. It continues to sell off. The candles are pretty small, so it's not gyrating around a lot. This is a NYSE stock, New York Stock Exchange stock, so we'll see what happens. So where do I have to go back to? I've got to go back to...
Yeah, it's like 2014. I'm sitting in right now looking at
14.15 to find some levels here. So right now, look at where the price is sitting, guys, right at this exact moment. So an area I would say that definitely was both resistance and support, right? It looks like it bounced off of this rough level many, many times back in 2013, 14, and into 15. So this is obviously a relatively important level. I'm going to put another marker there just to keep note of it, right around this 35.90 that we're at. If it drops further, I like this level right here at 33.94. Maybe I'm going to set this actually right at 34, because the whole dollar could also prove significant. I'm going to put that there. The spike of this candle down here was at 31.77. So I'll just tag that 31. Actually, I was going to move this level, but now I look at it over here, and this happens to be 31.80. Yeah, 31.90 is right where it bounced off of back here in October 2013. Same place it bounced off of in October 2014, a year later. So I'm going to leave that level right there. And that's probably it for 6. I'm going to set in the downside. Thor, if you're liking this, anything else that you would set on this stock right now?
No, I think you nailed the levels really good. I think I mark a couple pre-market levels that actually kind of coincided with some of those. So that was really nice, like a 37.75 that's sitting basically right on top of. I had meshed up with a couple of those levels, and you never know, because it's this, like you said, it's bounced from this level. So there's a chance that with such a large gap down, it's bad news, but who knows? This could be a nice buy the dip spot for some long termers, or you never know what's going to happen. So this could easily settle right here, and we could get a reverse off of this. We can't have a bias on 6, I don't think, this morning. But it gets a little spready, so we got to be careful with that too.
Yeah.
Especially for the open.
Well, we'll see what happens then. I don't know that it's going to go up, but hey, who knows? We'll see. We will see. All right, PTLA. PTLA. All right, so I'd set this level just a few minutes ago at 1459, or what was it, 1461, I think it was, actually. It's right where it's sitting. Let's go back in time and see if I've got anything lower than that I can set. It looks like it started trading in July 2013, and we are essentially at, let me just go back here. Yeah, we're essentially at all-time lows. If I look at where it opened, its low before was 14. Yeah, it has never hit this low. So we could be, that makes me like it even more, even if I don't understand the news completely. We are at all-time lows essentially for PTLA. So if it continues to go down, who knows what will happen, because it's never been down here before. And this is quite a drop. 41% today. Overall, you can see it's been trending down since November. Yeah, I'm liking it. We'll see what happens. I said I don't like the pre-market that much, but it may move. AGTC, again, huge day yesterday, pulling back a little bit. Let's just look back in time. Oh, maybe not that far in time. All right, back here to, yeah, PTLA, you're right, guys. It was downgraded, but it was downgraded only to $17, and it's riding here at 14.5, so it seems like an overreaction. Anyways, AGTC, I need to find, where is the current price? It's up here. I'm looking for this consolidation range. All right, wow, look at this. So it's in an area that definitely was an area of consolidation. I'm going to mark the low of this consolidation area here for sure at 860. And then I'm going to mark the high of this area as well at 1014, 1015, because that certainly looks like, look at that, it bounced off of that several times. And then I absolutely want to mark, what is the low of this candle? $12.01. So $12.03. Well, I'm going to mark it right at 12 here, actually. Because if it does go on a run, that's certainly an area to watch for when it hits around $12, because that's where that gap was. But who knows today? Or again, this is the second day after a big run. It may actually go up once the market opens, or it may retrace some of that, some of those gains that it made. All right, SRNE we'll take a look at. SRNE is one of those that was running up 50%. Huge volume today. I like the look of the pre-market. I can't remember. I didn't write anything down. Did we find the reason why on that one, Thor? Am I just forgetting? I don't know.
All I had on it was just the only thing I could find in the news was it was just a moving stock. So no, I didn't find anything on it.
Weird. Okay. Well, it's. I mean, to be up 50% with no news, somebody knows something. So I'm going to mark $4.40.
Right, we got a couple people in the chat that says non-binding acquisition proposal. Buyout, non-binding.
Okay. So a buyout rumor. All right. So those are actually good. So buyout confirmed buyouts normally aren't that good to trade, but buyout rumors are often very good to trade. So we'll see what happens here. I have a level set at 557 that I must have taken off the daily at some point. 440 is the bottom of this candle, so I'm absolutely going to mark that. And yeah, here you can see this consolidation area. This is why I have 557 back in August of 2018. And then I want to mark the high of this candle here, which is 650. So 650 or 648 is where I've got it, but that's where I'm going to put it, right at the peak of that candle. So if this thing takes off, I at least have some levels to take a look at. If it goes above that, well, we'll take a fresh look at it. All right, last one I had here was ACRS. ACRS, yeah, not a high price stock. I'm going to mark it $2.04. It's sort of the peak of these candles here. If it goes up on a run, there's a pretty obvious level here at the high of this candle at $4.60. Sorry, what was the high of this candle? Sorry, $3, which is where I have it marked. And then right here at the lows at $4.30, because this would be the gap that it potentially would look to fill if it gets over $3. It would have to hit that first, which is obviously its big marker, right? If it can get to $3, it's a big enough move on itself. If it gets through that, then I'd be looking for it to start to fill this gap, but we'll see what happens on ECRS. All right, last ones. I know I'm running a little late here, but there's a couple worth mentioning, guys. I probably won't set levels because I've got them, but the things that might continue to move. So from yesterday, right? KSS was a big gap down. I expect it potentially might recover today, but don't know. So, keep an eye on it. I've already got some levels marked. You can see here from yesterday. In fact, I'm going to mark one more here because I see the bottom of this candle at 48.46. I want a level there, and then 44.76. By the way, my levels from yesterday, magical. Yesterday's price action hit these levels that I'd set pre-market yesterday, both highs and lows, and the consolidation. So I was pretty happy with them. I'm obviously going to leave them there for today, and I think they're still relevant. BBBY.
Hey, Peter. We just had a squawk on LK that says the price offering at 42. And LK just woke up, some volume starting to come in, and it's starting to drop.
Wow. Okay.
And I think it just popped up on the gappers as well.
Okay, I see it there. So they're taking advantage of their big price increase to issue some more stock. Eh? Well, all right. Well, they did say they were trying to raise cash, and in fact, they actually announced a couple of days ago that they were raising cash, which then surprised me. The stock was going up because normally they drop when you announce that you're raising cash because it dilutes the value of the existing shares when you issue more into the marketplace, right? Supply and demand economics. So today, if they're issuing further share offerings. Do you see, Thor, is this just a confirmation of what they announced 2 days ago, or is this an additional offering?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm looking at it right now. It came over Squawk, but it wasn't the most in-depth thing, so I'm taking a look at it now.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, guys, we're at all-time highs on LK, so it's, we really have no levels to set. I've got a level here at 40.30, which had been that previous high, and $40.07, which is where it had pulled from before. So I'm not sure if they're relevant anymore now that it's pulled through. And we essentially, other than the previous day's highs and lows, I got nothing to mark because I said we're at all-time highs. But LK might be worth watching. Tesla.
Yeah, it just popped in on Bazinga's newsfeed. Luckin Coffee prices upsized, offering of $9 million and 4.8 by selling shareholders at $42.
All right.
So they're up in there.
So that's good to know. So they are issuing additional stock, guys, which may pull LK down today. Apple and Tesla, I am not setting any levels. We are essentially at all-time highs on both of them, despite the pullback on Tesla yesterday. The previous day high and low I already have marked, and those are going to be the best levels I've got because we're way out of the range for these on the dailies because they're at all-time highs. Essentially, those are the only things to watch. And Tesla, though, maybe what I'll mark here is the high of this day. I like it. 435.30. 435.31, in fact. I'm going to set that exactly. Here we go. And then, I'm going to leave those levels. So we'll see what happens. So, guys, those are a ton of levels. And hopefully they are helpful to you in your trading. Let me answer a question that I was getting from one of our members because people often wonder what these arrows are in my chart. So I've got these red and green arrows. Let me just circle them so you know what I'm talking about. Right here and then here and here. You can see these arrows. In DAS, there's a study you can set called a moving average pair. And what I've done is I've set it so on my chart, the gray line is the 9 moving average. The green line is the 20 and the red is the 50. But what I've said is every time the 9 and the 20 cross, I want to get notified. So this moving average pair gives me this arrow right here. Whoops, that's a terrible circle. All right, let me try again. It gives me a green up arrow when the 9 crosses over the 20, which you can see happened here, and a red arrow when the 9 crosses down over the 20 to the downside. So this would be an upside indicator and a downside indicator. I do that because what's more important to me is right here. When the 50 crosses over both the 9 and the 20, to me that's a buy or sell depending which way it's moving. This would have been a sell signal to me potentially that I look at for actual trading. But I like to know this can often happen in advance of that. You can see, right? Here is the red down arrow in advance of this moving average cross I actually look for. But because it's often in the price action, I find it harder to see, which is why I like having the extra arrows to indicate it. So that's all it is. It's the moving average pair study. You go into study config and it'll pop up. You can see I've got it listed here, moving average pair. So just set that on your chart and you can see I've got it with my exponential 9 and 20 moving averages. So that's how that works. All right. So, all right, guys. It was pointed out to me we did have a jobs report at 8:30 this morning. I don't know what the outcome of that jobs report was. Let's see. And we had the couple of things. So let me just read through what I had for announcement. At 8:30, we had the non-farm payrolls. It was a little lower than expected. We had the unemployment rate announced, which was right on target with what was expected. And the private payrolls, which came out slightly lower. So all in all, a little bit lower, but frankly not huge in any direction. So those are probably the extent of the Fed announcements for today. And let me just flip to YouTube, guys. Any questions on YouTube I can help answer. Somebody's asking how far I think LK will drop today. Lisa, I have no clue. I purposely try not to guess those things because every time I do, I'm wrong. I said with 99% certainty yesterday that Tesla was going to break 500, and I was 99% wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll just follow the price action. What will happen will happen. So, my job is to react to it and try and take advantage of it. All right. Any last questions? No. All right. We're only 12 minutes away from the market opening. I've got to get to setting my list. I'm still liking 6 to put on my watch list for today. I'm probably going to watch some of the ones that have been on the list. LK for sure. Tesla and Apple, I think, just have to be there. As for the rest of them, I don't know. I'm going to have to let me flip through them quickly and share with you guys what I think. SRNE, despite being a lower priced stock, I like the look of the pre-market, and I like this huge volume. So I think I'm going to put that on my list to keep an eye on. And yeah, I think that's going to be my primary list for today. So that's what I'm looking at. Thor, have you had a chance? We've already posted. Thor has posted his. He's primarily watching 6 SIX and then SRNE and LK. Well, look at that. Great minds, perhaps, think alike. And broken clocks tell the same time. So in our chat room as well, Eamon has posted his list. He's going to be watching 6 PTLA, LK, and AGTC. So we're circling around some of the same stocks. And that's good, which means we're looking at roughly the same stuff. Whew! That was a whirlwind, guys. I'm exhausted. And the morning is just beginning. So hopefully that gets you guys set up for the pre-market show. Trade smart. For those on YouTube, I'll be cutting you loose here. If you want to join us, don't forget, you can join anytime. We do have an introductory offer that you could use. The pre-market 24 discount code allows you to join us for a 1-week trial for just $24. Guys, we're not hard sell. You won't hear me sell much. We just mentioned this so that you're aware of it. It's just if you want to try it out, if you want to watch Thor and myself and Eamon and Andrew and Norm and Brian and Carlos, we all trade live at different points throughout the day, so you can trade with us. We can share not only our thoughts, but you get to share the thoughts of everybody in the room and all of our traders. It's a great community. If you want to just give it a shot, feel free to join us. We'd love to see you. And if it's right for you, then maybe you can consider joining longer term. So pre-market 24 is your discount code that you can use to take advantage of that. So thanks everybody on YouTube for joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a great trading day. Trade safe. As Carlos always says, you don't want to do anything you're going to regret going into the weekend. So make sure you follow your rules. And if you can do that, then you can at least hold your head high that you traded maturely, win or lose. So have a great trading day, and we will talk to you again Monday morning for the pre-market. And thanks, Thor,
thank you, everyone,
for joining me and helping out.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Whoops. Hold on here.